Alright, today we are trying something a little unexpected. This is the CFMoto 450 CLC, namely the bobber version of the bike. And it's kind of like the love child of a Triumph bobber with a very budget conscious accountant. And honestly, I kind of like it. Ever since I first saw this motorcycle, I wanted to try it really badly, and thanks to Authentic Spirit here in Cluj-Napoca in Transylvania, they have given me the opportunity to try it. So I picked it up a couple of hours ago, rode around town and a bit around it, so I'm hoping to give you guys a good idea on what the bike feels like, sounds like, and whether it's worth buying or not. Without any further ado, I'm Nimrod, welcome to Ride with Nimrod. Let's jump into the video. Right guys, this is the very first time I'm on a bobber motorcycle, a cruiser, whatever we want to call it. And I just picked it up from Authentic Spirit. So this is the very first time that I'm actually picking up a bike and going towards town instead of outside of it. Because normally the bikes that I test are either adventure bikes, something more off-road friendly. So I'm looking to go outside of town. But this bobber being a bit more, not a bit more, it's the city cruiser, I'd say. It's odd for me, the seating position, considering that, you know, I'm 6'1", that's 185 centimeters. It feels really odd. I'm so close to the ground. I'm not used to this. So it really depends, like, if you are looking to get this bike, if you've never ridden anything before, then it may be normal, but for me it is sketchy. Something I really gotta get used to. Throttle is snappy. Obviously we don't have a windshield, another thing that I'm not used to, but all in all it is behaving like surprisingly well. The bike is surprisingly stable. I like the sound of the engine. When you're braking, it does have a bit of raspiness to it. I'm still getting used to the clutch and the throttle response as well, because it is a bit snappy. Like, as soon as you pull it a bit, it does take off quite instantly, which something I wasn't prepared for, considering that it is a 450. And I don't know if you can see these manholes, some of these manholes on the asphalt, but you can literally feel everything. I mean, you could probably even hear it on my voice when it's trembling. So that's the suspension, but again, this is outside of my ballpark. Hello, airport. Simply as the suspensions I'm used to are made for jumping and definitely for riding heavy off-road situations.
In hindsight, you're gonna hear me moaning quite a bit about how stiff the suspension feels, but bear in mind, this was a dealer test bike. I don't know what tire pressure it was running, I didn't touch the preload, and I'm confident there are ways to make it ride a bit more plush than what you're about to hear from me.
We've got the same controls as what you'd get on the 450 MT CFMoto. It is a really good looking bike. Like, when you're sitting on the bike, like, it just feels so good. You feel like Maverick from... I actually touched the foot peg there. It's a low bike. You feel like Maverick from Top Gun. To finish my thought. So, know that in roundabouts you will... I'm guessing there's the foot peg that touched the ground, because I felt my heel as well, but it's not made for speed. This is one of those bikes, it's literally a cruiser. It's meant for you to go cruising with. I personally feel like the throttle doesn't have enough play, but maybe that's something that can be modified. You can play around with the settings of it, or you gotta go in a higher gear. Like, first gear is maybe made just for if you have extra weight or something, which, let's face it, you're not really gonna have on a bobber. You only have one seat on here. But my point, the point that I was trying to make was, you're either pulling on the throttle a bit, and it's got a bit of play, as you can tell, which is normal for any throttle, but as soon as you touch it a bit, it wants to take off. And for a 450 engine, it's raspy. It wants to take off. It wants to go. Looks wise, the fact that you've got the key hole on the side of the bike, you've got the analog looking dashboard, but it is still digital. You can connect your phone to it using their app, and you can actually throw your navigation on there as well. Not turn by turn, I think. The fellow from the dealership said that you actually get the map on the dashboard, which is pretty mental. You don't get that on an adventure bike. Well, you get it on the CFMoto adventure bike, some of them, but not the KTMs or Husqvarnas. The very first impression, I thought the brake was gonna be a bit softer, but it's doing a really good job. It's only got one disc, and obviously if you're riding in town, it's more than enough. It's so weird that I can put my legs down like this, my feet down. It's like I have both my legs planted, and I still have a lot of room I can stand up off of the bike. Something I'm so not used to. Honestly, the idea of a bobber, like you only have one seat, don't have a passenger seat, and the fender is styled differently as well, as you can obviously tell. You don't really feel that when you're on the bike. I thought like that one seat is going to be a bit more uncomfortable, considering that, again, adventure bikes, you are used to having really comfortable seats because you are expected to sit in the saddle of the motorcycle, sometimes even thousands of kilometers. But this one's actually like, it's a lot more plush. But then again, it's the suspension, that's the trade-off, right? The bike's a lot more stiff, and on these roads, I don't know if you can tell, but there are some waves that were made by trucks. You can't really feel the waves themselves, which is great because then the bike is stable, but you do feel the bumps. This is a fun bike, man. Like, if I were to live in a city like Cluj, where we are right now, this would be a fun bike to just ride around with in town. You know, one of those evenings when you just don't want to stay home, but you don't really want to go anywhere either. Just aimlessly ride around a bit. This is the perfect bike to do it on. Not to mention that it's perfect for A2 license holders as well, considering the engine size, the bike size itself, like the frame and everything. This is definitely very good for shorter riders. Rider height is always an issue because a lot of the bikes that are really off-road friendly have really tall suspensions, high ground clearance and all that, whereas with this one, like, you can be like really short. I'm talking like really short, 5 foot even, or maybe even less, and you'll sit a lot more comfortable on this bike than I am right now. That said, myself being 6'1", I was expecting to be a bit more uncomfortable on the bike, especially as I do have some extra weight that I've put on since I've started this YouTube channel, because I am spending too much time in front of the PC editing instead of being out on a bike. And then along with editing comes pizza and laziness, so we'll change that, I guess, but right now the idea is that the belly is not in the way. I swear, like, normally obviously I'd be pissed sitting in traffic, but when you're on a bike like this, being stuck in traffic is actually fun. And then if you're going to be filtering and all that, depending on where you are, if it's legal or not, that will make it a lot more convenient, because the bike's actually really narrow, especially with these mirrors. I really like them. They're the mirrors that come out of the factory with the bike. It's really cool. Like, I thought it would be a bit weird until I get used to them, but I never even noticed that they were different to begin with. And something, I don't know, obviously this is something that depends on your region, but in Romania, if you buy this motorcycle, on the one hand you get it for 5,000 euros with value-added tax included, and you get 5 years of warranty. Holy, like, how many manufacturers offer this type of warranty? Like, even say like you're not on a Yamaha or a Kawasaki or whatever, and your bike's gonna lose value faster than one of the Japanese ones, you have 5 years worth of warranty. Obviously with the condition of actually changing your oil and doing all the service at an official dealer. This is, by the way, the very first time that I'm riding a motorcycle that has a belt drive relative to what I'm used to, which is obviously the chain drive, which obviously requires a lot more maintenance, or at least I'm used to maintaining it, cleaning it, oiling it, doing all that stuff. When it stretches, then yeah, you are gonna have to increase the tension. On the other hand, you've got the CLC bobber, which is a belt drive machine. And big thanks to Authentic Spirit, by the way. They're the ones who hooked me up with the 390 KTM Adventure as well, and they were gonna give me the KTM Adventure R as well, the 390, but their insurance just expired, so this bike still had it. So I'm gonna take this bike out, obviously. Possibly next year I'll have an opportunity, obviously, then to try the 390 Adventure R. I want to run that up against the 450 MT. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see those reviews, and then simply the comparisons between these motorcycles. Ooh, I fell that manhole. And yeah, welcome to Cluj. A city for which this motorcycle is perfect for. Small, nimble, light, yet still feels planet aggressive, but not too aggressive, like just the right amounts. Ah, that engine sound is really cool. I swear, like I'm just hearing it now. I'm hearing it because of the echo, I guess, or the acoustics of being on a fairly narrow lane here. The bike sounds cool, man. I am loving it. Who knew that a 450 could sound like this? And it's just fun to ride around town with this thing. It is also eye-catching. I think the bike's definitely eye-catching. I'm the one who looks weird on it because I got an adventure helmet on me. I also have my big backpack because I've got the drone and everything. But yeah, oh yeah, guys are getting ready for the Christmas market, festivities and all that. Instead of wanting to run up against bikes like the Kawasaki Eliminator 500 or the Honda Rebel, I think it rather wants to kind of be a smaller version of something like a Triumph Bonneville Bobber, which is a large bike. I think it's a 1200cc bike.
And just to place it properly on the Bobber map, this isn't only competing with the Japanese Rebel and the Eliminator, it's also trying to steal customers from Royal Enfield's Classic and Meteor lineup. The difference is Royal Enfields are proper retro machines, simple air-cooled singles with around 20 horsepower, analog gauge, and with a full-on vintage look. The CLC looks retro, but is fully modern underneath. A liquid-cooled twin, 40 horsepower TFT dash along with a bunch of electronics. It's not pretending to be from the past, it's pretending to look like it's from the past, while very much being from today.
For sure, you can really feel the bumps. Every single bump that is on the road, you will feel it. The bike does have traction control, and for some reason you can turn it off, and I really don't see the reason why you turn off traction control on one of these bikes. Because you're not going to be going off-road, you're not going to be doing burnout. Well, you maybe want to do burnouts, I don't know. That's not really my thing, but yeah, maybe that's an explanation for why you can turn off the TC. But you obviously have ABS, as well as a few other bells and whistles electronics. But yeah, I'm really digging the dashboard here. I love the fact that it's trying to imitate that classic analog speedometer. But this is obviously digital. You can go into the menu. You have a bunch of other stuff. Again, connect your phone, you can connect the app, you have the music. You can obviously get this bike in the normal CLC 450 form, meaning, oh, my butt. And the normal CLC shape, meaning that you get a passenger seat and a longer rear fender, more room to actually mount luggages on there, the leather saddles. So if you're into that, or if you want to take the missus with you for a ride, then you better be looking at that bike. Otherwise, it's essentially the exact same bike. It's just the seat and the rear fender that are different, and you do get to say bobber every time you talk about your motorcycle. Yeah, let's gas up the bike a bit. We'll make it work. I gotta get used to the idea of actually having the key here. I'm real digging this thing as well. You have to open up the cap for the keyhole, and then you get to open the thing by turning the key to the right. Yeah, that's a bit odd. It's the same as for an old car, which is insanely cool. There we go, that's 10 euros. These 6.58, not a lot. Loving the look of this bike. It's so easy to get on. That startup sound is actually really cool, and I like the dance that the dial does. So let us try to make our way out of town a bit. Really just wanted to test the sound there, but thank you, guy. That was nice. Ugh. There are a couple of things that would have been nice on this bike right now in my current situation. One is a thermometer, so I can have an idea of why I'm freezing my nuts off. Not why, but what temperature I'm freezing my crown jewels. And the other thing would have been nice, heated grips, but you can retrofit those if you really need them. So odds are you're not gonna need the heated grips wherever you are, but it depends on your personal preference. Because if you don't ride at high speeds, like even now I did say, it is really cold right now out here, but because you're not going at high speeds, it's actually not that bothersome. I didn't even turn my heated jacket on. That is one insanely cool looking bike, if you ask me. Especially with that backdrop. Mental. For 5,000 euros, you do get a lot of bike for that amount of money. So let's see if I plant my feet into the pegs. I can actually stand up on the bike. How mental. Oh man, let's see a quick brake. Whoa, that brake is really good. I wasn't in danger of locking it or anything, but I'm really loving the way this bike is behaving. I could imagine one of these in my garage. I suppose other people the bike's right for is people who already own other bikes and want something fun for those interesting evenings when you just really want to go for a ride without any commitments. Honestly, like in terms of highway, I don't expect much from it with the simple fact that, you know, we don't have a windshield. There's no way for the thing to be comfortable. You know, if you are doing short stretches on the highway, yeah, obviously it's manageable, but you're not gonna go traveling or doing any long distance traveling with the bike. Not too bad. But the fact that you can feel every single bump is something you really gotta get used to, I think. Even this engine brake sound is just super lean. I like it. Just like the way it sounds. Riding around like this in first gear is on small bumps. Again, the throttle is really raspy. Like as soon as you touch it a bit, bike wants to leave and like suddenly jolt out of my hand. But well, okay, I'm exaggerating a bit there, but you get my point. I think I'm gonna be feeling this ride tomorrow in my lower back. But again, I really want to point out It's simply because I'm not used to this style of a motorcycle, but I gotta admit that I really love it. Everything just feels natural. Like, it feels natural to sit on the bike. It's, you know, aesthetically there are still a few things where CFMoto has kind of saved some costs, but we're talking about some holes on the frame that you can probably buy some aftermarket decoration for. You can fill it up yourself. That's a proper bobber. It sounds a bit raspier than this one does, but hey, I'm still enjoying this one. So it's up to the buyer what they want to go for. Again, you can make this bike sound a lot nicer as well, but I gotta admit, I was ready to say that stock it sounds like, I don't know, sewing machine or something, but it actually has a really decent sound. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's worth touching it. I mean, for a 450, this sounds really smooth, nice. You shouldn't have issues with police. It really does sound like it sounds serious. Like, it sounds like a proper big bike without the engine size. But obviously, if you're gonna put it next to a Triumph, a Yamaha, a Harley Davidson especially, it's not even gonna come close. Like, just all you gotta do is manage your expectations. Know what you are gonna get for 5,000 euros, right? You can't get everything. You can't get the value of a 30,000 euro bike by paying 5,000 euros, right? But you do get like maybe 70-80% of what those bikes offer. If you're looking to get into cruisers, bobbers, this is your thing, you want to switch over from a different style of bike, I think it's a really good starter bike for that. Instead of straight up paying, you know, a lot of money for a new bike, or still kind of a lot of money for even a used one, then you may as well just buy a brand new CLC 450, see if you like it. If you don't mind the bumps, if you like it, obviously you can upgrade at one point, but you know, if you're young, especially with the A2 driver's license, or I'd say it's great even for girls too, like women, girls, just because it's small, it's again close to the ground. It's so weird that you can put your feet down, they're really close to the ground. The belt thing, you can't really tell the difference other than the fact that you don't have to maintain it. I think like with Harley Davidsons, I think you can ride up to like 100,000 miles, which is like 160,000 kilometers on one belt, which I think is a bit mental. Like, it is a bit insane. I don't think anyone really does that. But with chains, you gotta change them way more often. And then there's the BMW GS bikes with the shaft drives or drive shafts or whatever. That's a completely different story. But I'm really liking the whole belt setup that the bobber has. Like, my honest recommendation for anyone looking to maybe buy this motorcycle, go out to your nearest dealer, see the bike in person, because it's actually bigger than what you expect, I think. Like, again, manage your expectations. I thought it was going to be smaller. It feels bigger. Ow, my butt. My lower back too. Test it, ride it yourself, see if you like it, see if you can see yourself riding this motorcycle every day to work or to school or wherever, or simply for coffee, and then you decide whether you want to get it or not. Ow, like these manholes, I really feel those, and I swear it's not my lower back that's feeling it mostly, it's rather my tailbone. I did have my tailbone broken a long time ago. Well, there we go. Some decent acceleration. That is an awesome looking bike, man. For 5,000 euros, that is a really awesome looking bike. But again, it gotta be realistic, manage your expectations. I keep repeating that because you can't expect, again, a Triumph, a Harley or something for that amount of money, but it gets, how much should I put on there? 80% of the job done. I don't want to give it a higher number because obviously a nicer, bigger bike does have its benefits, but the amount of good things this bike has, like even the air-cooled limitation of the engine on there with 1989, I'm guessing that's when CFMoto was founded or something. It looks like an air-cooled bike, but it does have a radiator, so you don't have to be worried in town that a bike's gonna overheat, so you got all that. There's the belt right there. Your rear brake, which is again the in-house CFMoto brake, and then the J1s up front, which do a really awesome job. The rear brake works really well too. I don't want to give it a bad name, but again, the dealer did say that when you get the bike, maybe they have some issues from the factory, some of them, maybe not all of them. And it's mainly to do not with the caliper or anything in the back, it's rather from up front here in the cylinder. It does get some air, so it might need some maintenance, but other than that, the bike just does what it's supposed to do. Look cool, ride awesome. See, like me personally, I'm not a fan of the normal CLC 450 with the classic seat and the longer fender. I much prefer this style of fender that it wraps around the wheel and you got the single seat in the back. If you're dressed for the bike as well, then it obviously looks really cool. Because you're not going to be riding too much at high speeds with the bike, you can easily use like an open face helmet or one of those military helmet style something. Whatever suits you. I mean, the fact that you don't have a windshield, you're not going to be riding too much, at highways. You can. It's not like you can't. It's just going to be uncomfortable. Like, let's just say it as it is. This is mainly really for the thing that we've been doing today, cruising around town, especially, at night when the traffic is a lot better. I really think this bike looks great. You can toy around with it. You can change so much on these bikes. If you really want to chop off, the muffler or anything, but I think the one from the factory looks really cool as well. So there's not much to do about on the bike. I did say like small decoration bits. Otherwise, like quality wise, everything feels like it's proper quality, like it's proper built. It feels, what a Japanese bike would feel like. Like you really can't. If you wouldn't know that it's a CFMoto, you wouldn't think that it is Chinese. That's my take on the thing. Especially like on the seat with the stitching and everything. I don't know if it's a stitching imitation, I can't really tell, but it does look good. How it will behave over time, staying out in the sun, rain, wind, or anything like that. It is a small component, something that you can change as well. You can obviously undo the whole thing and maybe change it to something you much prefer. It does come in the other two colors that I've seen, the one that is beige that the dealer had as well. I was filming that bike too, but then there's also one I think with silver and red, but that's the only component that differs on the bikes. Like everything else is the same color. Quality wise, again, like the paint job and everything it just looks like proper quality materials. Like you can't complain. Like it's been executed well. The welds and everything could be nicer, like don't get me wrong, but if you're a welder, you're gonna have maybe issues with that, but some of these are really well done. Obviously machines have done them, so you just gotta program the CNC and it'll do your thing. Whether the CNC is gonna be doing it in China or in Japan or Austria, it's not gonna make that much of a difference, right?
So after a full day with the 450 CLC, here's what I can tell you. It's not trying to be the most powerful, the fastest, or the most anything really. But it is trying to look cool, feel friendly, and give you that bobber vibe without needing a second mortgage. For beginners, for shorter riders, for people looking for style over horsepower, this bike makes a lot of sense. For highway warriors or speed addicts, yeah, not so much. Then again, personally, I really do love this bike and I am really pleased with its quality. I want to thank Authentic Spirit again for giving me the opportunity to try the motorcycle. I hope I've managed to give you an idea about the bike, but if you think I've missed something, let me know in the comments. If you like these types of motorcycle reviews, gear reviews, feel free to check out my other videos. but definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm looking forward to having you guys on board. And with that, because it is a cold November evening, Nimrod signing out.